Live action Ezra. Supposedly, the rumor mill is saying that Disney is looking for a male actor of color in their 30s to the mid 30s.
I'm perfect.
You would be
I
the
just don't have
worst Ezra.
Oh. Wait, 30s though. So what's important? So forget about everything, right? The most important thing about this is the casting choice.
I forgot how to breathe.
Oh, God. Don't forget how to do that. Is the casting choice of someone in their mid-30s.
Yes.
Which would place Ezra in his mid-30s. Which would place him sometime.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, I thought that would place Ezra in his 40s.
No. Well, that would make it even worse. That would make it even more interesting.
It puts him
we haven't seen Ezra. The last time we saw Ezra, he was, what, 16? So we're going to jump.
14, 16.
We're going to jump. Half his life into the future is when we're going to see him next, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Which places the timeline where?
At the end
Mandalorian
of
season
6.
2.
Yep.
He's gonna
Mandalorian.
appear in the Mandalorian season 2.
You mean
like
3?
half of the other fucking cast in
Season
the Clone
3.
Wars.
What's wrong with
and
that?
This is just getting stupid. Like, I'm sorry. This is getting
How is this stupid?
Because so you're just gonna take a bunch of characters
Yes.
from previous shows.
Yes.
We're gonna take all of his characters and
put
put them in this show.
Yeah.
And
What's wrong with
and
that?
then hope it makes a coherent story.
It will.
It won't.
This is the problem
Like,
of being
this is
away
the-
for 2 weeks.
this
You
is-
have too much pent-up
This is no.
nerd.
This is the problem, right? It's just fucking fan service. That's all it is. It's not going to be a good story.
I disagree.
It's not people are not going to be satisfied. It's going to be too much or it's going to be too little, and you're just the Mandalorian. All of a sudden, instead of being its own thing, is just Star Wars Rebels season 5. That's
Well, what? First of all,
Not
it's
seeing a problem.
It's not confirmed for Mandalorian.
Yep.
Second of all, what if it's good? You just automatically made it bad. Third of all, I do agree it might be tough. It might be difficult to put in all these characters that some people know from a previous show and most people don't.
Well, that's why it would not be. That's why it wouldn't be a full-on Star Wars Rebels season 5. I could see it being more
Well,
like.
you have 6. How many characters do we have? 6? Fucking 6
Wait, name them.
characters?
Wait, name them.
You have
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. You have now Ezra. You have Bo-Katan. You have
Captain Rex?
Captain Rex / Boba Fett, right?
Oh yeah,
So it's 4 already?
that's 4.
That's just 4.
Oh, it's potentially Sabine, right?
Sabine, is that a thing?
That was a rumor.
Well, this is a rumor too, right?
Right, but that
So
was
if
like a
you
joke
buy-
rumor.
if you buy
where they were
every
just
rumor.
they were basically like, oh, the guy that held the ice cream thing was also cast. Like,
No offense, though, Ravi.
Yeah.
If you're casting Ahsoka and you're casting Ezra, why wouldn't you cast Sabine?
I don't think.
Those 3 characters are linked,
But once again,
inextricably from the last time we saw
we
them.
don't know that Ezra's going to be in Mandalorian season 2.
He's-
We're wildly
I would
speculating.
bet.
What are you going to bet?
I would.
What are you gonna bet?
I
Spray
have
tan
nothing to bet.
Spray tan
But
bet.
I mean,
Spray tan.
if they're having all of these other characters appear in season 2 of Mandalorian, you don't think they're going to put a quick cameo even of?
That's
of,
fine.
Ezra
A
in?
quick cameo.
So that
is
means he's
fine.
appearing in season 2 of Mandalorian.
Right, but it's not. The season's not about him. The season's still going to be about Yoda, baby Yoda, the child, and the Mandalorian.
I
and their quest.
guarantee if you're loading up a show with all these cameos,
Mm-hmm.
people aren't gonna care about what the main story is. People are gonna care about, oh my god, when is this character coming in?
What if those characters, though, are introduced and integrated seamlessly? So, like, what I mean by that is they do it in such a way where you don't need to go back and watch, or you can go back and watch those shows, and it'll enrich the experience instead of being necessary. So, like, what if they introduce them as a crew for the Mandalorian? Unfortunately, as soon as you introduce that Darksaber, which we all, I think,
they already did.
that's what I'm saying. As soon as they introduced that Darksaber, a Rebels tie-in was inevitable. Unfortunately, that Darksaber is connected to a very certain set of characters and events who have only appeared,
Darth Maul,
as far as I
Bo-Katan.
know, have only together appeared in one thing. It was as soon as you saw that Darksaber, I was like, okay.
But that's the
they're
thing.
looking to tie these.
But
two
that's
things
the thing
together.
with Star Wars,
which is not a bad thing.
But that's the thing with Star Wars that's always made it interesting.
Yes.
To me, is that it is a connected universe thing, right? And the thing that Mandalorian season 1 did, which was interesting, it introduced us to elements that we're familiar with, stories that we're familiar with, but it was not a full-on, like, I have to know everything.
Sure.
Granted, I'm a different type of nerd when it comes to Star Wars because I want to know everything.
Right.
So if I saw these cameos, that's a fucking win for me. That's awesome.
Yeah, but there's a difference between cameos and like artfully doing it and dropping the entire load, right? Like,
true.
why don't we just get Luke in there? Why don't we just get every single
I
character
love that.
appeared in Star Wars? Like, that's what it feels like to me, right? It feels like instead of like artfully doing it and having like the character that makes the most sense for the Darksaber would be like a Bo-Katan, right? Because for Moff Gideon to have that, he had to take it from her in the timeline, right? So it would make a ton of sense if we continue with Moff Gideon and the Darksaber, that like a character like that would appear, especially because she is a Mandalorian, right?
quick,
like it thematically ties in
to-
really well.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We might be talking about a mute point here. This just in. Season 2 already wrapped. So Ezra, if this live action
Season
thing,
3, baby.
he would be in season 3.
Well,
so to your
hold on.
point, there wouldn't be all these introductions.
Hold on a second. The reason the rumor went out is because someone knew that casting call happened. We don't know when that casting call went out. That casting call. So all the rumors of like these actors coming out is because the show has been done, the scripts leaked, the edits leaked. The same thing could be for
Did they
Ezra.
leak?
Same thing.
Really?
And also, you could still. How many times have we had stand-ins in Star Wars who later got cast? That's happened plenty of times.
Quick
that
thing.
could also be there for
quick
us.
thing to your points. Yes, Bo-Katan makes sense for the Mandalorian. So does Ahsoka.
So does
And then-
Boba Fett.
So all these characters that they're
Or Rex.
introducing actually are important to the Mandalorian cause in some way, shape, or form.
They make sense, but why in the same season, the same episode, most likely, right? Like you're just like it's just going to be here's an episode with the Mandalorian meets the cast of Star. It's like a crossover.
So
almost.
Arjuna already hates Mandalorian season 2,
Yeah.
and he hasn't even seen it.
I don't
yet.
hate it. I just don't.
You sound like me,
I
and
don't-
it's frustrating.
I don't
Yeah.
like the idea of like just completely abandoned. Like it feels like to me they've just completely abandoned what they were doing, and they're just like, here's a piece of fan fiction.
But we don't know that. We don't
Yeah.
know. And like I said, as soon as they introduce that Darksaber, I think this has been in the works, I think, the whole time. They're like, we're going to introduce a couple of characters who are brand new, but then we're going to we're going to get into some characters that we already know who are going to be older and different than the characters that we've known because they grew up, right? I think this has been the plan from the beginning. As soon as we saw that Darksaber, at the back of my mind, I was like, this is great, but there's only one place for this to go, especially because Dave Filoni is involved. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. So
Yeah, and he left. We didn't leave, but there's still these open-ended storylines, right? We don't know the full story of Bo-Katan. We don't know the full story of Ezra. Why not utilize a show
But
to
in
kind of talk about
the
these people?
context of the Mandalorian, like it's just there's so much other story in the Mandalorian that now you're introducing these other plot threads to finish up in that, and I just feel like something's going to get left behind.
I think
some like either we're not going to be satisfied with how these answers or questions are answered, or we're going to underutilize what the Mandalorian is about.
this is what you're nervous about because this is where I see it going bad, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. The Mandalorian worked best because it's this quiet, self-contained Western kind of a Western.
He said
Western.
you did say Weston.
I know.
What's a
I did.
Weston?
Weston.
Isn't
Weston
that a
kid.
hotel chain?
Yeah.
The Western?
The Western, sort of a show, right? It's quiet, it's slow paced. There's not a whole lot happening outside of the direct conflict that we're seeing. To Arjuna's point, when you start introducing a bunch of characters, all of a sudden now you're going to get away from the formula that we saw in Mandalorian that is unique to Mandalorian, which made Mandalorian so good in season 1. That's the only thing I would be nervous about.
Right.
Not introducing the characters, because if they do it the right way and they keep it on the Mandalorian and the child in that self-contained Western style, you can introduce these characters who are well known, but as long as it's still from the same viewpoint and done in the same style, I think it'll be a raging success. But I do understand why one might be nervous because as soon as let's be honest, Ezra and Ahsoka, they don't lend themselves to quiet, self-contained storylines. When they show up, things usually explode, right? We've seen it. That's all their arc. So
They're
Jedi. I understand why introducing them, you might be also getting away from the formula of what made Mandalorian work in season 1.